Hi, and welcome to another edition of Travel Geek. My name is Kyle O'Donnell, and I have a book recommendation, The Ancestor's Tale by Richard Dawkins. It's amazing. I can't tell you the depths to which a man's genius can go until I talk to someone who's actually read this book and share similar views. Believing in religion or not, this book is undoubtedly one of the most genius creations to have graced the human race in the 21st century. I can't believe I didn't even know that this book existed. It was released in 2005. I didn't see it until I was at a bookstore in Hong Kong back in November 2011. And, okay, how do I start this? Oh God, it's hot in here. In probably one of the most profound and researched arguments for evolution, Dawkins discusses locations all over the world that show amazing and provable links between the lineage of manifold species, some still alive today, some having been found and researched in laboratory settings. One of the most profound things that I found about his book is that he doesn't use blanket statements that cover wide swaths of time or large expanses of information. He goes into gripping specifics. He covers finite items that are part of our scientific understanding, and some of which have yet to be accepted into the pool of scientific items. And in doing so, he very elegantly helps to advance the pool of scientific knowledge that we currently have, and even more so in that of the world of evolutionary biology. More importantly though, the significance that he raises in doing so have implications for a much broader element, but you can decide that upon reading it. My discussion for today is that the book itself is an unbelievable argument for evolutionary biology. In it, he talks about how the shapes of animals are akin to their evolution, how, like plasticine, they are moldable through genetic mutations and alterations. The most beneficial shape occurs in animals such as those found in aquatic environments, where of course body shape has a direct effect on how long it survives. He talks about chimeras and their genetic relationships to other species. He discusses the relationships and co-relationships of ancestors and concessors and draws on the unique and calculable lineage they share. He notes how organization and order in species such as leafcutter ant colonies creates a genetic advantage over the chaotic and sporadic activities of the species' ancestors, which are clearly no longer in existence because their lack of this ability to mobilize and retain a rigid structure. He discusses the Hox genes and their ability to tell which parts of the animal to build during the larval stages and which parts of the anatomy of the animal. Then he goes on to talk about homoetic mutation, where the Hox genes have somehow gotten the wrong information and therefore create the wrong parts of the animal. Because the cells of any segment are perfectly capable of creating the anatomy of any other segment of the animal, all cells act in the same way based on the information encoded in the DNA. This argument alone is profound in that it gives power not to a god residing over the animal, for instance, but the microscopic information residing within it. Therefore, when a common fruit fly shows up with an extra pair of wings, 2 pair by the way, instead of the normal 2, it can not only be explained without doing any research on that particular animal, it can be verified once dissection and focused studies have taken place, even in a different part of the world. And it doesn't assume that God messed up. It doesn't take on the assertion that it was the destiny of this particular animal to develop an extra pair of wings. It in fact goes much further and explains the situation much more intricately. One might even call it a miracle, because it is that precise mutation that evolution is testing out this new pair of wings. If this particular fly can move faster and avoid being eaten because of this new set of wings, it'll live long enough to pass on that mutation to its offspring. If the extra pair of wings is a hindrance and he's not able to fly well at all, he's simply going to be doomed to a life without flight, and he'll be the last in his lineage. Simple explanations like that, they're really gripping, but at the same time, Dawkins has the ability to move so much deeper into the realm of explanation of the biological sciences. He does people like me, who have a very limited understanding of physics and cosmology, the favor of taking from works like John Maynard Smith, W.D. Hamilton, and George C. Williams, and explaining them, covering their practical applications in the world of biology, and making their work an easy-to-understand complement of how the world of godless science really works through, various other fields. He doesn't just make the connection that fish crawled from the sea and began the next step in evolution toward the mammalian entities that we are today, which of course explains why we've had the shortest period of time on Earth of any of the class of species throughout Earth's history. He goes right to the species, talking about a Devonian period lobe-finned fish that first invaded the land. He opens up the discussion of how winged creatures came to be, including of course everything from the flying squirrel to the flying fish, specific to the Pacific Ocean. He discusses the idea that if alien genes, or presumably the genes of any other type of genetically distinct species, plant or animal, were discovered, it would undoubtedly be the most monumental discovery to the history of the human intellectual movement. It would allow not only for the God gene to take the podium and have compelling evidence against evolution, it would also open up the floodwalls of countless new theories within the scientific world. But as it stands, every single piece of DNA that man has ever been able to find throughout the fossil record can be traced back to a single organism, a carbon-based organism that existed more than 3 billion years ago. And he not only claims that, he proves it by discussing the links between these genetic relatives. He talks about how which parts of the brain are known to send signals to which parts of the body. This, of course, being an important link between the various species. He indicates that a platypus brain is bill heavy, while the human brain is hand, genital, and sensory heavy, such as in taste, hearing, sound, etc. He points this out because beyond genetics, there are other undeniable links between the human species and those species predating us. These connections, if found all by themselves, would be evidence enough. But the fact that they're backed and even proven by the genetic argument as well just holds so much water. There are lots of other amazing arguments that Dawkins discusses in his book, but I'll let you read that for yourself. The book, again, is entitled The Ancestor's Tale by Richard Dawkins. It's almost 700 pages thick. It's a long, heavy read, I'm not going to lie to you, but you'll definitely thank yourself for making it all the way through. He also has it in audiobook, though of course it doesn't include pictures, which in my opinion are paramount to the understanding of his claims. But the book itself is available at orionbooks.co.uk is the website you can find his book at. As the travel geek, I can say that there is no greater adventure than the one into our evolutionary past. So that's my recommendation for the Wanderer's Fix. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again. Be sure to stop by the website, kyleodonnell.com/travelgeek. Pick up a copy of Dawkins' book, The Ancestor Tale.